Okay, so this video is about a plyometric session for a professional boxer, but it's applicable to amateurs. It could be applicable to anybody in fighting or contact sports with a few manipulations. So the first thing, the prep that we want to do. So when you're considering prep for something like this, I would always look at making sure the SI joint is well mobilized but also stable in the prep drills. The same with the shoulder joints. So your prep would need to include stability work and movement work based on those principles. You'd also need to prep the Achilles well if you're going to do any kind of plyometric work. So I've allowed a 10-minute block for that. I'm not showing it on this video, but that's what would be in there, okay? If you want me to show the breakdown of what I would do for that, you can message me and I'll put a video together on that. Now the movements that we're looking at, they're all going to have a specific purpose behind them, okay? And that specific purpose is going to be the generation of power related to the punches thrown or the speed of the movement thrown. Now, one of the biggest things when it comes to working with plyometrics and using the medicine balls like we're going to do is the weight of the ball mustn't interfere with the speed of the movement, or it interferes as little as possible. So for that, I always prefer a lighter ball. I generally use a 3 kilo Dynamax for all this kind of work. And it's the same with the punch bag that we use for the throwing. We actually want a reasonably light punch bag so that we've got some resistance, but we can really dynamically fire that punch bag up in the air when we throw it. The biggest key point that I'll go through when I'm doing the drills or demonstrating the drills is whenever you're doing the plyometric, you must be thinking about the next movement, okay? So if I'm firing the ball into the floor, there must be a jump into the floor, but I'm not finishing the technique there because that's actually my loading phase for me to drive up into my uppercut. That would be the purpose of the drill. Or the purpose of the drill would be that sudden drop when you're throwing a cross, okay? So as long as you understand why you're doing the exercise, you're going to get some kind of carryover. If you're just blindly doing the exercises, or if the coach is inexperienced in just coaching exercises because they've seen it on YouTube or something like that, then you're probably with the wrong coach, okay? So make sure that it can all be broken down well, and that if you're the boxer following it, you understand why you're doing it and what you're trying to achieve. And if you're the coach, you better know why you're giving the exercises. Okay, so this is typically the kind of wall ball that I'd use. So Dynamax 3 kilo, quality 2 kilo. Whatever you choose, you don't want it to interfere with speed. You'd have already done all your strength work, you're onto power work now. So using a heavy ball, in my opinion, is pointless, okay? So part of your prep work, you would have also elevated your heart rate and you'd have prepped the Achilles, you'd have made sure the SI joint was nice and stable but mobile, and your shoulders would have had lots of activation work in there so that they're good to go. Now, one of the first drills that I would do, and I approach this seemingly differently, but we have a very good track record of success with this. Fire the ball into the floor repeatedly for 10 throws, but we're looking for the plyometric as we throw the ball for specific reasons. Now, like I said, those specific reasons are when I'm throwing the cross, I'm dropping on this side. Okay, so there's my hip flexion and I'm pulling through the hamstrings into knee flexion. I'm also driving off the back leg and rotating that shot in. This is going to be very important when you do the wall throws. Now, I've seen a lot of people, when they throw their shot and their foot is out here and they're throwing a shot here, that's just poor coaching, or it's poor learning on their behalf, one of the two. Okay, so you want that nice rotation into the shot. You want this a little bit of flexion here through the abdominals as well. So the program, I'll start with the throws into the floor, like that. Now, I'd look at 10 throws, then I would go to a light punch bag, pick the punch bag up and throw it behind me, run to it, pick it up and throw it 5 to 6 times. Then I would do an active rest. Now, the active rest would be working through your shadow boxing, but still focused. So not going through the motions, still working with kind of intense and speed, but working to kind of 50 to 60% rate. Okay, so this is just kind of like 10%, isn't it? So you're working at 50 to 60%. I would then go into the wall throws. Okay, with the wall throws, if you just finish here, you're not doing the exercise correctly. There always has to be some kind of withdrawal. So when I'm actually throwing the ball, what I tend to get the boxers to do is they fire the ball and then throw the hook, because that is such a common backup shot, as it were, that you're going to be doing. The main point is to withdraw this right arm as fast as you can. Okay, so you throw the ball, withdraw. As you throw, you're obviously pulling through the opposite side. You make sure that their head is angled over their lead leg, so all those basics are in there. Okay, so again, if the coach is just having you throw the ball here, okay, maybe for the first few throws in the learning process, that's acceptable. If you're doing workout by workout and that's still the case, change your coach, okay, because they don't know what they're doing. Okay, so throw the shot, get the withdrawal. If you get the withdrawal by throwing the hook afterwards, great, but some kind of withdrawal. Now what that means is you'll probably want 4 or 5 balls ideally ready to go, or there's a small break between each throw where the coach just throws you another ball, okay? But because you're not going to be catching the ball, so you throw the ball and throw the hook straight after. Okay, so throw the ball, throw the hook straight after. And you have to be able to do that in both your leads, okay? Now the coach should be filming this to then watch and break down any little movement errors that are happening, making sure that you're still getting compression, making sure your alignment is right. So the session's the session. What you then have to remember, you're not only paying the coach for the session, you're paying for their time to then watch and break down your movements and give you feedback. So do remember that if you're the athlete.